Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's such a pleasure to meditate with you all. Before we start, I'll remind you of DK's advice that service in the world these days requires constant pressure and attention, and the work is strenuous. It may not always be possible for you to make your approach at the exact hour of the full moon, though you can at that hour always, silently and interiorly, lift up your heart and eyes to the eternal. But at some hour during the 12 preceding 12 hours, you can make your approach. And when you do so rightly, you will find me waiting. So go to your work with clear vision, a loving heart, and understanding love. Much can then be accomplished. So let's make our approach to DK as a group, a united group, standing with massed intent. So let's continue then to build our healing garden as a group at some point within the 12 hours prior to each full moon, meeting DK there, turning our garden into a shrine of consecration, and intending to offer our garden as a chalice for the love of the Christ in hierarchy to be poured in selfless service to humanity. Let's gather in our garden. But before we do so, let us briefly align with our own soul. Raise your consciousness into the head, as high in the head as you can. Feel as if there's a huge magnet above your head, pulling you up, roaring you up. Then carry that consciousness upward through the astral body, a poised and tranquil astral body. Then a one-pointed mental body. Then to the soul by visualizing a lotus fully open, scintillating with light as a symbol of your soul body. Place yourself in the center of your lotus, realizing that you, the personality, and you, the soul, are now one in consciousness. This is where we reside. This is home for us in the soul consciousness. And from that point, definitely and consciously assume the attitude of the observer. Observe your personality below and visualize your etheric body and see energy flowing freely up and down your etheric spine. And now consciously through soul energy down into the center at the base of the spine, using indigo blue light, the color of the soul ray, the color of love. And now in your imagination, raise it slowly via the 5 centers, up the etheric spine, then to the ajna, then to the crown, and up into the soul body. And now say the soul mantra in full consciousness of who you are. I am the soul. I am light divine. I am will. I am love. I am fixed design. And sound one Om as the soul in full expression. Let's enter our garden. At the entrance, we stroll through arches of climbing roses. Master DK's favorite roses, favorite flowers. Clusters of flowers in abundance overhead, and choose the colors that you like. And as you stroll through, let the roses gently caress your cheeks, and breathe in the delicate aroma of the cascading roses percolating through the air. And small, lovingly trimmed emerald green bushes line the stony pathway. And hear the crunch of the little stones under our feet. Along an embankment at the end of the archway, there are rows and rows of flowers, flowers of different hues and harmonizing tones. Reds, yellows, pinks, orange, magenta. So as we create these rows, we include our own favorite flowers. The blooms shed fresh petals on the path, creating a soft carpet for us to walk on, releasing their individual fragrances as we step on them. On the opposite side of the embankment, we see right in the middle of our space of harmony a lighthouse, standing tall and strong, shining beams of light in all directions as a symbol of our strongly united group soul. As we assemble there quietly, we hear a choir of birds fill the space with their clear melodious notes, welcoming us to this unique space. A choir of angelic voices sing a soft tune, accompanied by the sound of harps, divas gently strumming the chords. Sitting still around the lighthouse, we feel the gentle warmth of the rays of the sun. Feel them on your face, on your head, on your chest and on your back, warming you from the inside. And in the background, the breeze softly swishing through the tall eucalyptus trees chants a melodic lullaby. And we are told by DK that eucalyptus trees are the most advanced in the vegetable kingdom. So they've earned a rightful place in our garden. These majestic trees cast their protective shadows on the grass as sunlight peeps through this peaceful garden. Around the lighthouse, we see a large quiet pool of crystal clear blue waters. Flowing from the pool, we see rivulets as we hear the gentle trickle of water. We also see 3 wider streams of golden water flowing steadily, and across them are curved wooden bridges. In one area of the pool float lotuses of all colors, in all stages of bloom. Some are in full bloom, revealing their gorgeous jewel, while others are just budding, but barely showing their true color, but all reflecting their light in the healing waters. Just beyond the pool, a hidden path leads to a cozy and serene corner. A few chairs and a bench, and a small fountain containing supercharged, vitalizing water, perfumed by a single floating lotus, create the perfect spot for an informal sharing of one's difficulties or words of wisdom. Inhale the perfume of the flowers, imbuing the air as everything in this garden quivers with livingness. And you could bring in people that you want to share the healing in your garden. In the distance, we hear the soothing sound of water, and we follow it, and we come to a tranquil pool where cascading water gently hugs rocks as it joyfully spills in a blue pool below, while bubbles of air ricochet spiritedly in the air. Lush ferns alongside the rocks, draping in the water, enhance the serenity of the place, while the fiery brilliance of the orange and the red leaves of surrounding trees brings warmth and invigorating energy to the area. In our mind's eye, we follow a pathway which leads us to flower beds. They are a riot of spring color, reds and greens and yellows and pinks of such vibrancy, winding their way like a gentle living stream among the trees. A row of violet flowers on either side of the meandering bed happily follows the path of the flowers as they release their subtle perfume. So all our senses are being stimulated and enhanced in our garden. Butterflies flutter through the air with their iridescent wings, attracted by the silent serenade of the blooms. They are like the flowers of the air, their delicate and fragile wings like floating petals, touching the light and twinkling like diamonds in the air. While buzzing bees surf the open spaces from flower to flower, seeking pollen which looks like scintillating bright golden pixie dust. Nearby, the soft and gentle babble of the sound of the fountains reach our ears. Lush green grass lines a gentle stream like a soft velvety carpet. Feel the coolness of the grass. The air is full of the sweet fragrance of the flowers in full bloom, adorning the fringes of the stream in this tranquil garden, quivering with life. This garden that we've just created is our garden, our group garden. But let's take a moment to add a corner which has our individual touches. So add the colors, the unique features and flora of your own country that you'd like to blossom in this tranquil and serene space. Let's now invite the presence and cooperation of the healing devas working under the Christ and Master DK, and visualize them in our garden, enlivening it with their magnetism. And now sitting quiescent, our hearts beating as one, let's link up with each other as we say the healer's mantra aloud, together, with purity of motive, inspired by a loving heart. We offer ourselves for this work of healing. This offer we make as a group and to the ones we seek to heal. At this juncture, you can mention a few names of people who need your help or our help. We open our inner eyes, endeavoring to hold our mind unwaveringly in the group light. We know that Master DK too stands steady, pouring out upon us his love and strength, and endeavoring to lift us up into a higher state of consciousness. We're now receptive to Master DK's radiant energy. The light of the lighthouse begins to shine brighter and brighter, intensifying gradually. And soon this light begins to take shape, and a definite figure appears. It's that of Master DK. There he is, waiting. So let us then be impressed by powerful waves of cosmic purpose emanating from Master DK at the summit of our lighthouse, streaming through our harmonious group, irradiating the garden around us and imbuing it with energies of regeneration and creation. And let's listen intuitively with our hearts to the Master's words, and let them quench our thirst for deeper comprehension of the Lord's purpose. Have clearly in your minds the three groups of spiritual energies, which at the time of the 3 full moons of April, May, and June will be released into activity, and which will aid humanity in its major task of rebuilding the new and better world. The unique opportunity which confronts the Christ as his great hour draws near is that of unifying, synthesizing, and integrating all these forces into one great potent downpouring of spiritual energy. And these involve the activities of the spirit of resurrection, the inspiration of the Buddha as he conveys the strength of the one in whom we live and move and have our being, the forces of reconstruction at the June full moon, So Dictator reminds us that it is essential that we try to grasp the unity of this hierarchical effort at these 3 full moons. Aries is the sign of beginnings, the beginning of the creative process, the first step of the soul into incarnation, the beginning and recurring and constant cycles of experience, the beginning of the period wherein the soul changes its direction, its purpose and its method, and finally enters into that definitely defined process which we call spiritual regeneration and initiation. Aries is one of the constellations of the cardinal cross of the heavens. This is the cross of God, the Father, and therefore of the incarnating monad. It is the expression of will and power as it expresses itself through the great creative process. Aries is the zodiacal sign through which the first ray of will or power reaches our planetary life. It is the will of the Father aspect manifesting through Aries that governs Shambhala. There are 4 key words that express the nature of the Lord of Aries influencing our planetary logos. 1. Express the will to be and do. 4. 2. Unfold the power to manifest. 3. Enter into battle for the Lord. And 4. Arrive at unity through effort. So creation, being, activity, strife, and synthesis, these are the nature of the Lord of Aries and enable him to influence our planet to these results. Aries is the creator of those activities, conditions, and processes which lead to the manifestation of the soul through the medium of form, and later of those higher creative undertakings which lead in due time to the manifestation of spirit through the soul. The first impulse is awakened in Aries, for Aries is the place where the initial idea to institute activity takes form. It's like Aries plants the seed on the mental plane. Hence the significance of the sign of the keyword of the sign Aries to the soul and to the initiate. I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. Everything starts from the mental plane. Aries is the birthplace of divine ideas, whether these ideas are souls brought into incarnation, or whether they are the birth of the ideas of God in the form of hierarchical plans to which the initiate becomes sensitive. The ram leads us into the creative life of earth and into the darkness of matter. Aries initiates the cycle of manifestation. Aries awakens the will to reach the lowest and their control, to know the uttermost, and thus to face all experience. Thus runs an ancient statement, we are told. The whole creation is the result of his created and controlled thought, a process of sustained thinking which sweeps all the creative energies into evolutionary and cyclic activity, in conformity to the pattern which he eternally visualizes. God thought, God visualized, God spoke, and the world was made and is sustained. The planetary logos formed and informed the world by his thought, and holds all together within his mind for the many, many eons of manifested existence. So then, what is the purpose of our planetary logos for creating Earth? Sanat Kumara, the Lord of the world, through meditation, is carrying forward processes which he instituted in his original creative meditation back in the darkest night of the time, when he decided to create this planet of ours for strictly redemptive purposes. So who are the agents of logoic purpose? He has organized a group which is responsive to his meditative intention. And this is a mysterious body called the reflecting lights. The members of this group are to a certain extent extra-planetary. These beings aid him by their concentrated and realized purpose to bring into our planetary livingness certain extra-planetary energies which are needed to carry forward the planned work of the planetary logos. They focus cosmic creative energy, thus making it available on demand to the members of the council chamber at Shambhala. They are the helpers of the Lord of the world and implement his purposes as they are formulated by him on the cosmic mental plane. They wield the law of synthesis and hold steadfastly in the universal mind of the Logos the ultimate result of the divine will to good. There's another group of creative thinkers, the Nirmanakayas, or the inspired contemplatives. And they receive impression from Shambhala in relation to the planetary creative purpose. They are a channel for the inflow of ray energies from Shambhala into hierarchy. And they are, in a peculiar sense, the creative agents of life as it streams forth from Shambhala into all aspects, areas, kingdoms, and fields of manifestation. And this they are enabled to do through sustained, concentrated, intensive, and dynamic meditation. And the third group of creative thinkers is the new group of world servants. And the creative meditation of the new group of world servants has for its objectives the creation of the new civilization and of the new world order based on cooperation, right human relations, and goodwill. So DK tells us that we have therefore three groups of thinkers and three other groups of intensive, creative thinkers, all of them responsible for and dedicated to the comprehension of the divine purpose as it works out through the spiritual hierarchical plan. Behind all these groups, implementing the purpose of our planetary logos, lies the influence and the originating impulse from Aries. For Aries is the place where the initial idea to institute activity takes form. It is the birthplace of ideas, and a true idea is in reality a spiritual impulse taking form, subjective and objective. So 3 times a year at the April, May, and June festivals, there is a united hierarchical meditation led by the Christ. So that's why it's important that we participate fully in these 3 festivals. These festivals are invocative of Shambhala and of that which lies beyond their Nirmanakayas and can be safely carried forward in united meditation under directed guidance and the highest possible inspiration. At the Aries full moon, we are told, the Christ, the leader of the forces of light, directs the spirit of resurrection. But who is he? He is an extraplanetary living spiritual entity, a life-giving spirit, a member of Shambhala. He is the chosen emissary of hierarchy. And he is the Son of Righteousness, which now can arise with healing in his wings. So the spirit of resurrection, under the direction of the Christ, guides the forces of restoration to hierarchy, who releases the potency of the spirit of resurrection in the hearts of men everywhere. The spirit of resurrection is the opponent and the antagonist of the spirit of death. Psychologically, mankind has been ruled by selfishness, and selfishness is the potent seed of death, material death, psychological death, and mental death. But the work of the angel of death will take place. But the work of the angel of death will give place to that of the spirit of resurrection. So what does the spirit of restoration do? He carries this life-giving energy which counteracts death, this vision which gives incentive to life, and this hope which can restore all nations. He restores livingness to men's spiritual aims and life to their planning. He engenders anew the vitality needed to implement the trends of the new age. And he guides humanity out of the dark cave of death, isolation, and selfishness into the light of the new day. So the spirit of resurrection directs the forces of restoration. The spirit of resurrection therefore directs the forces of restoration, who evokes response from the new group of world servers and disciples everywhere as their psychological morale stiffens and their will to live and their will to good is strengthened. An immediate effect will be felt on a larger scale. And it is this resurrection life which will be poured into humanity at Easter time. So let's reread this statement of DK again. The spirit of resurrection, this extraplanetary being, directs the forces of restoration, who evokes response from the new group of world servers and disciples. And as their psychological morale stiffens and their will to live and their will to good is strengthened, an immediate effect will be felt on a larger scale. It is this resurrection life which will be poured into humanity at Easter time. So what are then the effects of the spirit of resurrection and the forces of restoration? They will stimulate people to be forward-looking and to hope with greater conviction and courage for a better world setup. Their wishful thinking and their emotional desire are slowly giving place to a more practical attitude. Their clear thinking and their fixed determination are far more active and their plans better laid, because both their thinking and their planning are today based on facts, not on wishful thinking. They are also beginning to recognize those factors and conditions which must not be restored. And this, DK tells us, is a point of major importance. In other words, they will bring greater discrimination and discernment of what needs to be kept and what needs to be discarded. Mercury, don't forget, is the esoteric ruler. of Aries. So it's the influence of Mercury, stimulating the minds of men everywhere. So the forces of restoration at the Aries full moon restore the will to live and the will to good, restore psychological health and morale. And don't we need it now? So the forces of restoration will work to restore morale and psychological health, thus implementing the resurrection of humanity from the death cycle through which it has been passing. The restoration of men's mental condition to a wholesome and happier approach to life is the primary objective. These forces will bring about the emergence of the new civilization, which is definitely men's creative work. So then let's pause for a moment and reflect on this important request from DK. At the Aries full moon, let the demand go out for the appearance of this life-giving spirit. Let it go forth with such intensity that the hierarchy will be called into active response and will immediately release the potency of this spirit into the hearts of men everywhere. So let us state our intention, demanding the appearance of this life-giving spirit, the spirit of resurrection. Let's demand that it releases the potency of its energy into the hearts of men everywhere. So let's visualize our lighthouse, symbol of our united soul group, standing strong and detached in the middle of our garden. As Master DK at the summit pours the regenerative Aryan waters of life, restoring the will to good in the heart of every blade of grass, every flower, every lotus, every tree, and every molecule of water and of air in our garden. So that people who come to our garden are rejuvenated, are regenerated. See the will to good permeating every aspect of our garden. Now let's visualize the flow of unconditional love and will to good emanating from the avatar of synthesis, the spirit of peace, and the Buddha powering the Christ at the center as we make use of our garden by distributing the will to good to humanity. Now let's superimpose the emanating triangle on the soul triangle consisting of the Christ, Master DK, and our soul group. Visualize these two triangles blending and fusing to form one blended triangle. And now superimpose these two blended triangles on our group chakric triangle, vitalizing it. And this triangle is our group crown chakra, our group ajna, and our group alta major. And blend all these triangles as we step down the energy of the will to good on the etheric levels. And see only one triangle of will to good, of dispelling radiance. And now let's direct this radiance via our group ajna, right eye, left eye triangle. Let us place it and let us impress it upon the three planetary centers triangle, London, Geneva, and New York. And from these three planetary centers, see the will to good, the radiance flowing through all the other countries. And let us sound one Om as we see that Om carry the dispelling radiance of the will to good through these three planetary centers to the rest of the world, of humanity. And let us say the healer's mantra aloud, saying it slowly and deliberately as we believe in the results. May the love of the one soul focused in this group radiate upon you, our fellow man, and permeate every part of your body, healing, soothing, strengthening, and dissipating all that hinders service and good health. May they think clearly and fight for a better world, a new world order of harmony, brotherhood, and right human relations. And just like Christ does daily, standing under the great pine tree in his garden at the sunset, with hands uplifted in blessing over all those who truly and earnestly seek to aspire, let's picture a great pine tree in our garden, and let's gather around the Christ, Master DK, and the healing ashram under this pine tree, saying the great invocation together as one group. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth, and let us sound a blue Om as we see the light being carried to the four corners of the world. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. And let us sound another blue Om as we see the sound carry love to the four corners of the earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. Let us sound a third Om, carrying the will to humanity. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Oh. And now raise your clasp hands above the head and say, so let it be, and help us do our part. And bring them down to your forehead. and let them rest on your heart. And may the blessings of the Christ and of hierarchy rest upon all true servants, and may they stand tranquil in the midst of strife. May the light of the garden of our souls be on the inner plane, what the sun is to the gardens of the world, a place of restoration of the divine will to good in the hearts of many.